ከተው አብዛኛውን ኢትዮጵያን ተጫዋቾች ናቸው ብዙ ኢትዮጵያን ያሉን ተጫዋቾች ደግሞ በዚህ ሊግ እየተጫወቱ ነውና እንዴት ታነጻጽረዋለህ
ለብሔራዊ ቡድኑ በተለይ ለአሰልጣኝ ውበቱ አባተ በጣም ጠቃሚ ይመስለኛል በዛ ላይ ደግሞ የተለያየ ዳይሜንሽን ያላቸው አጥቂዎች ናቸው አሁን አቡበከር ቅድም ጊልበርት እንዳለው በጣም ኢንቴሊጀንት ከኋላ ተነስቶ እድሎችን መፍጠር ይችላል ከየትኛው ማቅጣጫ ጎል ያገባል ሙጂብ ደግሞ ቦታ ያያዙ በጣም ግሩም ነው በጭንቅላት አጠቃቀሙ አሪፍ ነው ስለዚህ ለብሔራዊ ቡድኑ ለአሰልጣኝ ውበቱ የተለያየ አይነት ዳይሜንሽን ያላቸው አጥቂዎች እንዲያገኝ ያግዘዋል የጎል ቁጥራቸው ደግሞ ይበልጥ ሻርፕ ሆነው ወደ አፍሪካ ዋንጫ እንዲጓዙ እድል የሚፈጥርላቸው ይመስለኛልና ጥቅሙ ለክለቦች ለብሔራዊ ቡድን በጣም የላቀ ነው ይመስለኝ መኳንንት
እንግዲህ በዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት በሄድንባቸው ጉዞ በሙሉ በጣም የተለዩ ነገሮችን እናያለን በጅማ አይተናል በባህር ዳር አይተናል አዲስ አበባ ላይ አይተናል እዚህም ደግሞ በድሬዳዋ ቆይታችን የተለየ ነገር ተመልክተናል እስኪ እነሱን እንመልከት which kind of actions is best action for you in Dredawa?
Well, I think one action would definitely be that goal by Abubakar. You know, it was the angle was very acute. The goalkeeper was actually covering the near post, and that's a very, very difficult angle to be able to at least put the ball in. But how he slides through and slides the ball in between the post and the goalkeeper is just amazing. It's out of this world.
አንዳንዴ አቡበከርን የሚሉት ብዙዎቹ እግሩን እንደጁ ይጠቀመዋል አይነት ነገር ነው
ይመስላል ከዚህ ጎል በተጨማሪ ተመሳሳይ ጎል ለማስቆጠር ተቃርቦ እንደነበረ እናስታውሳለን ይሄ ግርማ ዲሳሳ ወልቂጤ ላይ ያስቆጠረው ጎል ነው ግብ ጠባቂው ጀማል ጣሰው ወጥቶ ነበር ግን ይሄን ጎል ለማስቆጠር የግርማ ዲሳሳ እይታ እንደዚሁም ቴክኒክ አኩሬሲ እና ቪዥን በጣም አስገራሚ ነበርና በጣም ኳሊቲ ያላቸው በጣም ቴክኒካሊ በጣም ኳሊቲ ያላቸው ተጫዋቾችን ያየበት ነው አንደኛው ግርማ ዲሳሳ ያስቆጠረው ነው
ጊልበርት which goal is the best goal for you in Dredawa? We are now seeing now.
Well, that would count from Walde. These are a defensive midfielder coming into prime position, and I would say from about 35 to 40 yards. And with the technique and the power behind it, there's no way that you're going to stop that one. That one, to me, in Dredawa is the best goal. One, because of the timing of the pass. Two, because of the run. Three, the technique that was applied onto that one. Four, the power, and finally
the tight angle. Yeah.
Oh, it was the best goal in Dredawa so far.
እስኪ በሊጉ ደግሞ የተሞከሩ ሙከራዎችን ግብ ጠባቂዎች ያዳኑበት መንገድ የተለየ ግብ ጠባቂዎች እንድንመለከት አድርጓል እነ ሙንታሪ እነ አቤል ማሞ እንዲሁም ሌሎች ናቦከር ኑሪ የሊጉ በጣም አስገራሚ ኳሶችን ሲያድኑ ነበር እንቅስቃሴዎችን እንስኪ ዮናስ
እንግዲህ ሙንታሪ ከሊጉ ቤስት ግብ ጠባቂዎች መካከል አንደኛው ነው የሀዲያ ሆሳዕና ብዙ ጎሎች እንዳያስተናግድ ያደረገው አንደኛው የሙንታሪ ኳሊቲ ይመስለኛል ሙንታሪ በጣም ፍሌክሲቢሊቲው በጣም ጥሩ ነው እንደገና ደግሞ በደመነፍስ የሚያድናቸው ኳሶች አሉ በእንቅስቃሴ ባልተመቸው ሁኔታ ውስጥ እንኳን ሆኖ ድሎችን ሲያባክን አጥቂዎችን ሙከራ ሲያመክ ተመልክተናልና ሙንታሪ በጣም ድንቅ ሴቦች ያሉት በድሬዳዋ ምርጥ ካየናቸው ግብ ጠባቂዎች መካከል አንደኛው
Gilbert, let's talk about the goalkeepers.
Well, he's just talked about Muntari. If there's a goalkeeper that you cannot beat from close range, that would be Muntari. But that youngster, Nuri, I think he's not being rated properly in this league. But he's a youngster who's come from from nowhere and has really given a very good account of themselves. Remember, Jimma struggled when they had the big guy Penzo in goal. But as soon as Nuri comes in, I think he's kept a very clean sheet. I mean, he's given a very good account of himself.
I think he needs game to be best, yeah?
Absolutely. He's still young. You know, he's got the agility. He's tall. And, he's got good vision. He's got very good technique when taking, those set pieces. He's very good. He's very good technically. So I think he could be the future for the Ethiopian football.
Yeah, it's time to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
ተመልካቾቻችን እንግዲህ ከቆሙ ኳሶች ደግሞ የተገኙ ሙከራዎችና ጎሎችን ነው የምንመለከተው እንቅስቃሴዎቹ እንግዲህ ጨዋታ የለወጡም ናቸው ቡድኖችም የተጠቀሙባቸው ናቸው ስለዚህ እንቅስቃሴዎቹን እንመልከትና ተመልሰን የምንገናኝ ይሆናል ጥሩ ጊዜ ይሁንላችሁ ተመልካቾች ተመልካቾቻችን የመጨረሻ የድሬዳዋ ቀናችንን ነው እንግዲህ ምሽት ላይ ያሳለፍን የምንገኘው የመጨረሻው ጨዋታ የሆነው ደግሞ ጅማ አባጅፋር ከኢትዮጵያ ቡና ጋር የሚያደርጉት ጨዋታ ነው። ይህን ጨዋታ የምንመለከት ይሆናል። ሁለቱም ቡድኖች እንግዲህ በደረጃ ሰንጠረዡ የተለያየ ቦታ ላይ የሚገኙ ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ሁለተኛ ደረጃ ለመያዝ፣ ጅማ አባጅፋር ደግሞ ከታች ያለውን ስጋት ለመላቀቅ የሚያደርገው ጨዋታ ነው የሚያደርጉት። ወደ ጅማ አባጅፋር ነው ጊልበርት it's a difficult time for Jimma and also for a coach like Tsagai Kidane Mariam, yeah?
Asra late. That is the position in which Jimma is.
Yeah.
This is not the best position to be in, especially towards the end of business. There are about 4 or 5 matches remaining. And Jimma is coming up, as I said earlier, against Sidama, against Bahadar, against Hadia. Extremely difficult matches. And for Jimma, all the matches should be played like a final, because any loss at any stage or any loss of 1 point at any stage would definitely put them in a very, very precarious position. I would say that it's a team that is sinking, but they still have at least 4 or 5 matches to be able to play and redeem themselves. So it's not a very easy position for Tsagai to be in. But again, if you look at the kind of quality that he brought on board, he brought in Prince Waongo, he brought in Osumanu, you know, and he also brought in, he has a very little striker in Derese on 6 goals. And I think he went for exactly what he wanted to. So I think we may give him some slack and see what he can be able to achieve in the last few matches that he's got.
በቀጥታ እስኪ ወደ ጸጋይ ኪዳነ ማርያም አስተያየት ነው የምንሄደው። ተከታትለን እንመለስ።
እንግዲህ ያው ተጋጣሚያችን ኢትዮጵያ ቡና በ2013 የሜዳ ላይ እንቅስቃሴውና ውጤቱ በጣም ጥሩ ነው። የራሳቸው የሆነ ጨዋታ ስታይል አላቸው። ውጤት ቀያሪ ተጫዋቾችም አላቸው። እነ አቡበከር አሉ፣ ከመስመር ደግሞ እነ አስራትጁ አሉ። በጣም የተቀናጀ ቲም ነውና ጨዋታ ቀላል ነው ብለን የምንገምተው ጨዋታ አይደለም። ዞሮ ዞሮ እንግዲህ እግር ኳስ ያው ቀድመን ተነበየው ስላልሆነ እኛ ደግሞ እንደ ቡድን ዛሬ እንደ ቡድን ቲም ዋርካችን ጥሩ ሆኖ በእንቅስቃሴ በልጠን ውጤታማ ለመሆን በእኛ በኩል ተዘጋጅተናል።
የድሬዳዋ አጠቃላይ ቆይታ እንዴት ነበር ጸጋይ?
ድሬዳዋ በጣም ጥሩ ነው። ሁሉም ነገር የተመቸ ነው። ያው ሜዳ ላይ የነበረው እንቅስቃሴ፣ መስተንግዶው፣ አቀባበሉ ምናምን ሁሉም ነገር ያው የተመቻቸ ነው የነበረውና እኔ በግሌ ረጅም ዓመት የቆየሁበት አገር ስለሆነ በጣም ደስተኛ ነኝ። በውጤት ደረጃ ያው በምንፈልገው መልኩ ተጉዘናል ብለን አናውቅም። እንደ ቡድን ያው የሚቀረን ነገሮች አሉ፣ ግን ሜዳ ላይ የነበረው እንቅስቃሴና አሁን የያዝነው ውጤት ያው ብዙ ገላጭ ነው ብዬ አልገምትም። ግን ብዙ ማሻሻል ያለብን ነገሮች አሉ። በእንቅስቃሴም ከጊዜ ወደ ጊዜ የተዋሃዱ እየመጡ ስለሆነ ተጫዋቾቹ እንግዲህ በቀረቻው ዛሬ ጨዋታ ደግሞ ጥሩ ውጤት እናመጣለን ብዬ አስባለሁ።
እንግዲህ ተመልካቾቻችን ቀደም ሲል አሰልጣኝ ጸጋይ ኪዳነ ማርያም የሰጠውን አስተያየት ነው ተከታትለን የተመለስነው። በቀጥታ ወደ ኢትዮጵያ ቡና እንግባ። ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ከ8 ቀናት እረፍቶች በኋላ ነው የመጣው። ለዚህ ሜዳ እረፍት በጣም አስፈላጊ ነው፣ በዚህ ሜዳ ለመጫወት ብሏል አሰልጣኝ ከሳይ አራጌ።
ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ቅድም መግቢያችን ላይ እንዳነሳ ነው በተለይ ለሁለተኝነት በሚደረገው ፉክክር ውስጥ ተጋጣሚዎች ነጥብ እየጣሉለት ነው የሚገኙ። ስለዚህ ዛሬ በጣም ደስተኛ ሆነው ወደ ሜዳ መምጣት ያለባቸው ይመስለኛል። ምክንያቱም የሚያሸንፉ ከሆነ ቀጣይ ሐዋሳ ላይ ይበልጥ ሁለተኛ ሆነው ለመጨረስ የሚያደርጉትን ጉዞ ማሳመር ይችላሉ። ዛሬ ግን እጅግ በጣም አስቸጋሪ በሆነ ሜዳ ውስጥ ነው የሚጫወቱት እና ትልቁ ጥያቄ አሰልጣኝ ካሳ ያራጌ ከሜዳው ጋር አዳፕት ያደርጋል ወይስ በዚሁ አጫወት አስቸጋሪ ሜዳ ላይ ቡድን እንመለከተዋለን የሚለው ነው። ከዛ ውጭ ግን ከጅማ አባጅፋር ትልቅ ፈተና የሚጠብቀው ቡድን ነው። ቅድም ሀዲያ ሆሳዕና ይዞት የገባው አይነት አቀራረብን ከጅማ አባጅፋር እጠብቃለሁ። ስለዚህ ለኢትዮጵያ ቡና ፈታኝ 90 ደቂቃ ሊሆን ይችላል ከሜዳና ከተጋጣሚ አንፃር።
ቴንክ ዩ ጊልበርት።
Absolutely. Thank you.
ዮናስ እናመሰግናለን። ተመልካቾቻችን ቀጥታ ወደ አሰልጣኙ አስተያየት እንሂድና ወደ ጨዋታው መራቸው ይሆናል። አሰልጣኝ ካሳ ያራጌ የሰጠውን አስተያየት ተከታትለን ወደ ጨዋታው እንገባለን።
ረፍቱ ጠቃሚ ነው። በተለይ ሜዳው በጣም ጉልበት የሚጠይቅ ነው። ራሱ ጭቃው ወደ ኋላ ስለሚጎትትህ ብዙ ጉልበት ነው የሚያወጡት በእንደዚህ አይነት ጨዋታ ላይ። ስለዚህ ክፍተት መኖሩ ጠቀሜታ አለው። ያው አጋግመት ጉልበት ሰብስበት መጣለና ጥሩ ነው። ረፍት መኖሩ ጥሩ ነው። እንደዚህ አይነት ረፍት ማግኘታችን ጥሩ ነው ለዛሬው ጨዋታ።
ዛሬ እንግዲህ የምትገጥመው አደጋ ውስጥ የሚገኘው ጅማ አባጅፋር ነው። ምን አይነት ጨዋታ ትጠብቃለህ ከጅማ?
ምን አይነት ስነ ልቦና ይኖራቸዋል የሚለው እንግዲህ አንደኛ ካሉበት ደረጃ አንፃር፣ ሁለተኛ ውድድሮቹ እያለቁ እየተጠናቀቁ ነው ያሉት። ይሄን ታሳቢ ማድረግ የሚይዙት ስነ ልቦና አለ። እንደገና በአንጻሩ ደግሞ ለኛም ቲም የሚሰጡት አለና አንዱ ጎልቶ ይወጣል ብዬ አስባለሁ። ሁለቱንም ታሳቢ ለማድረግ ሞክረናል። በዚህ ስነ ልቦና ሊመጡ ይችላሉ። ስለዚህ ከዚህ አንፃር ይሄን ማድረግ አለብን፣ ይሄን ማድረግ አለብን የሚለው ያንን ታሳቢ አድርገን ተነጋግረንበታል።
Well, it's the very last time we'll be seeing the flood-lit Diradawa Stadium, at least in this season. And from a distance, it will still remind you of a very, very expensive jewel on a bevy of other stones in your necklace. It's shooting out of that night sky of Diradawa. And it's ushering us into the game of Jimma Jiffar playing against Ethiopia Bunna. So temperatures down to 23 degrees, would you believe it? For a place that is so accustomed to 40, it's going to be a lovely evening of weather. But then that same weather, having been coupled with the rain, has affected the way the field is looking like. for this game, which is the last game in the series of games that have been played from the Dire Stadium. We're talking about game number 121 in week 21 of the Ethiopian Premier League. Even as the match commissioner Fiseha Mariam brings them onto the field, there's a little bit of a tinge of excitement in the game because one of the most exciting players is just about to take onto the field, and that is Abubakar Nasser, the highest scorer on the league at the moment as well. Looking on the team that is right to it all, their scorer on this side is Temesgen Deres as well. He's playing up at the front, assisted by the Ghanaian Rahim Osumanu and the other Ghanaian Prince Waongo. Tamu Negusi, who's already scored one goal for the side as well. He's going to be in the team. Nigabre Selassie, Walerin makes a start as well here. And the captain, Elias Ataro, is still going to be standing strong. Alex Amuzu, who was fined to help this team get away from the relegation zone. Melak Wolde and Siom Tesfai complete that lineup of the is still going to be standing strong with Alex Amuzu, who was recently signed to help this team get away from the relegation zone. Melak Wolde and Siom Tesfai complete that lineup of the Jimma Jiffar side, who today also have Abubakar Nuri in goal for the side. Now, on the other side, they will be facing some very tough men. This is Rahim Osumanu, a very hard striker to bring down. Center referee is going to be the international referee, Manuel Haile Selassie. And the second, first assistant is international assistant, Temesgen Samuel. And then Maher Maren will be the second assistant referee. The fourth referee is international referee, Lilia Tafese, for this game. The captains will just be going through the usual protocols of finding out who starts the game from which side. Emmanuel Yohannes is the captain of the Ethiopia Bunna side. Ethiopia Bunna with a realistic chance of going up the log, but only if they can win it. The challenge is now for the second position, not necessarily for the first position. They're going to have to take Mariam Chanko in goal today. Come in when Ebo Mamo has been put on the bench now. Haile Gabriel Seya, Bebe Tila, and one manager Reje are all in defense together with Asra Tunjo. Manuel Yohannes is going to be with Redwan Nasir and Fikre Jesus Binhan up at the front. Mikias Mekonen and Abtamu Tadese will want to provide for Abubakar Nasir to try and beat the record of the Ethiopian Premier League in one season that is still at 25 goals. He is at 22. He's got 6 or so matches remaining. I believe we'll be seeing a very good challenge on that goal tally. They seem to have put all their best men on the field as well. Fikre has been came in the 73rd against Sabeta today. He is on the starting lineup. He also was a sub against St. George. So there's a little bit of confidence that has been put on him in the team and being in the front there as well. Samson Kolicha usually does come in as a substitute. Sometimes he starts and then he's substituted. Beckham Abdallah has not had enough playing time, in my opinion. They've got Abraham Tamirat and Sadiq Secho, who they might use in this game. On the other side, there is William Solomon, who's starting from the bench. There is Mintesinot, and I think Ndale Debake, who might just be used in this game for the Ethiopia Bunna side. Realistically, Ethiopia Bunna have a chance to end this with a second position. But that depends on how they play this game today. Because if you look at the entire log, they are in the second position with 33 points. They could just stretch it a bit to 36 if they wanted to. Hardy can only get to 35 if they win their next game. But there's another team that is watching this game very intently today. That's going to be the Farsil FC team that is watching this game in case the Ethiopia Bunna side doesn't win this match. Then technically the Farsil side will be the champions because they will have gotten what is called an unassailable lead that Ethiopia Bunna cannot get to. But if Ethiopia Bunna then still win this one, then again the Fossil side will have only one hand on the trophy and will be waiting to put the other hand when they win, or if they win their next game. They got good men on the field today from both sides. Jimma and Jiffar, in spite of the position they were in the log at the moment, 12th, they were a perennial 13th position team. Have tried as much to try and come back into the season, but it's too late. They've drawn 2 games out of 5, no 3. But they drew against Awasa and drew against St. George, and that was a big lot. Drew against Dawa as well. For the Ethiopia Bunna side, they won 2 out of 5 and lost 3 out of 5. I think the biggest loss for them in terms of what they would be thinking about it would be against St. George. But I think having lost to Awasa was probably a bigger impact because it's not a team they expected to lose to. And that is why they come into this game. They call intent on winning it today. And a technical side, they'll be playing in very muddy, very murky situations. The first game of the afternoon, having obviously changed the way the pitch looks like, which makes it even more difficult for them. So they're going to have to find a way of settling very quickly in this game and then trying to find out how they master the pitch to be able to come into it. I am Bernardo Tiera. I'm in the company of Gilbert Celebo to take you through this one. You can choose to listen to the Amharic commentary. All you need to do is touch the language button on your remote control. 1 of 2 will give you Amharic. 2 of 2 will give you English. You press OK, exit, and you will be good to go. The first thing we look at is the formations. Gilbert, Ethiopia Bunna giving 4-3-3, 4-3-3 for Jimma, but for this similarity in formations causes a little bit of concern in the midfield.
Well, Bernard, you're very true that both teams are coming into this game with a 4-3-3 formation. The biggest change is the absence of the 2 Williams on the Ethiopia Bunna side, where Fikri Jesus and Emmanuel Johannes have taken over the 2 number 10 positions. On the Jimma Jiffar side, they maintain the same team that played in the last match, and therefore, coming to this game, their tails are very, very high up in the air.
Well, the 2 Solomons, as you mentioned, one of them is actually on the bench. That's William Solomon. The other Solomon Tafese, I think, has a red card, so is not on the tip sheet altogether. It was red card in the 83rd minute of the game against St. George after having got a yellow in the 43rd. I think it was a second yellow, and so they're not going to be using him today. But even the other Solomon's work rate, if he was in this field, would probably be made very difficult because of the muddy conditions. I want to see how they're going to be navigating through this, and then how they will be providing up front, especially for Abubakar Nasser. This is headed back into the midfield, bounces and stays there with Fikri Jesus in very close proximity. Osumanu wants to go for a through ball. Takeoff is going to be a little bit difficult because of the slippery conditions. This is red one. Nasir, the brother of Abubakar Nasir, who's playing up at the front. It will need a lot of work to be able to go through that midfield. Gabriel Timse, I think, will just realize that. The black patches, Gilbert, are the patches where the ball can actually bounce and stop there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really muddy there. And, especially for Bunna, being a very technical side, it's going to struggle in the way they move the ball around because they like moving with short passes. I think they have to change tact to be able to do something, to get something out of this game.
This is Abebe Tilahun. Makes the wrong decision to try and change the wing here. Shouldn't in this kind of conditions unless he's pretty sure the ball will get there. Even a shot from that distance in that place is not going to come out very fast because you got to use more power and still the ball will move very slowly until you get to the better attacking areas. That's where things will work out for you. I think for the Ethiopia Bunna side, they will have the better attacking side in this first half of the game. And they might as well want to use Abubakar Nasser in it before things change. And they go to the other side in the second half. Again, Abubakar has got the company of Alex Amuzu. And that's a very difficult customer. Good idea to hold on to possession a little bit just so that there's no offside trap here. I think Osuman was in the danger of getting into that trap. That's him. A new man just recently signed in by the Jimma side together with Prince Waongo and another Ghanaian, Alex Amuzu. That's Alex Amuzu, a no-nonsense defender from what we have seen so far. Sends in a very hard ball. I think he wants a couple of men to run for it, but That's too far to even chase for Prince Waongo, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think there's going to be a big fight on both sides of the divide. Alex Amuzu versus Abubakar Nasser. And then Abebe Telawun versus Rahim Osman. Very big player with a lot of physique in him.
Who now? Abebe Telawun or Osmanu?
Rahim Osman.
Okay.
Yeah, again, it's Abebe Telawun.
Another very big player
Yeah.
as well. Now, the other side is going to be a little bit of a difference. A very technical player in Abubakar Nasser, and a very scrappy but very hard defender in Alex Amuzi. That's going to be a very interesting challenge to see. It's back into the midfield for the Bunna side, Ethiopia Bunna, that is. I think just for purpose of clarity, when you talk about Bunna here, we'll be talking about Ethiopia Bunna. You know, there's Sidama Bunna, but we refer to them as Sidama. It's much easier that way to be able to remember them. It's going to be a throw in here. It's going to be for the Jimma Jiffar side. They hosted the second leg of matches that were played in the southern city of Jimma. The origin of coffee, if you do remember the story of coffee. Tilahun tries to switch it onto the right side. That's a good way to run it then from Mikias Mekunen. There is enough men who are coming out in it. He does want to keep possession. Oh, he's managed to just get all the defenders running in circles, brings it all the way back. The only problem with that is that everybody else will be lining themselves up in defense very nicely for the Jimma Jiffar side. Let's make it again. They didn't get out of that technical game of just knocking the ball around. Look at how far they go after you thought they had a chance to go and strike towards goal.
Yeah, and at this particular point, Mikias had Abubakar show him exactly where to place the ball, but he delayed, and it was very good recovery defensively for Jimma Jiffar.
They want to give it to the Ethiopia Bunna side. They're forcing the Jimma side to come and chase for the ball. And so deceptively, they can actually get them to come round running for the ball and then open up the spaces. They will be trying to hit Abubakar Nasir up at the front. That kind of play, it looks very obvious that will be trying to get Abubakar Nasir. Thomas Dessa himself was trying to get it that way. And I think by now the Jimma side might be knowing this, although they will concede from the technical the penalty area. You know, sometimes I wonder what the players are actually arguing with the referee about. Is it about where the free kick should be taken? That's not for you to decide. It bangs onto the hands here of the same man who's arguing loudly.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's showing the referee where he thinks the free kick should be taken. Oh, there's too many people who talk to the referee at every time.
High time the referee should carry a whip.
No, it's not that bad. It's going to be Abubakar Nasser who's going for it. It bangs onto his hand then, tries to remove his hand, so that's an obvious free kick. Here comes Ethiopia Bunna, will try to take it. I think Abubakar wants to take a shot. 22 goals to his credit, and 6 penalties out of that. Chasing the record of 25 goals. Well, spent too much trying to run around again instead of going for the shot. And a good attempt from the left foot of Mikias Mekunen. Just that it ends into the hands of Abubakar Nori quite easily. They were appealing for that handball.
There was a handball appeal, and then a very weak shot from Mikias Mekunen straight to the goalkeeper's hands.
Yeah, two things looked at for the handball as well. Is there an intention to handle the ball? Is the hand in a natural position? And in this case, I don't think the intention was there as well. Just turning to try and block the ball. Goes out onto the left side. Through ball for Abubakar. He was just looking for one touch here and it's blocked off by Alex Amuzu. That's the challenge we're talking about. Abubakar would ordinarily have beaten any defender with that. And all he needs is a through. This is to Mikia's making. And then to the Duana said. The two Nasir brothers playing for the team. One in defense and one in attack. So one. Even the push to the midfield and get to where it was intended. They try and avoid as much as they can that area where the ball doesn't move as fast as. It is supposed to. You can never be too sure how much force you should put on that ball. It looked like a very good control and quick feet there by Walalin Gebre. Today, making another start here, playing his second game for the Jimma. Jiffar side, but this cross here should have been punched nicely into the goal area. There was multiple choices that Temesgen. But it's 12 minutes into the game.
Absolutely.
Who's opening who and who's seeing it better?
Jimma is seeing it better because they're really not having so many passes, but again, their final pass so far in the first few minutes of the game should have given them at least a goal.
Well, yeah, that would be the case. There was a little drizzle earlier on, and if you notice on your picture, there's a little bit of a blur. There's a little bit of a snowy kind of situation. Don't adjust your picture. It's not coming from your side. It's coming from the Diredao International Stadium. It's normally a desert state, and temperatures of 41 are very normal. But it rained yesterday a little, and then it's rained again today a lot. And in the evening, I think there's probably a little bit of humidity still rising. And that causes that little blur that you see on your screen with a slightly light bluish kind of color on your screen. Don't change it. Hoping that it's going to pass. Plus the fact that we're playing under floodlights, you're bound to see that a little more. This lovely drop again, forcing the goalkeeper, take the Mariam Shanko into making sure he is in the net. It's just the ball that he isn't in the net. So it makes the correct decision here.
Well,
he should be in the net.
Should be. That is the racer again with the prime position again to plant the ball into the net. Poor clearance, I would say, because you want to clear it away from your opponent, and that return ball almost getting into the net.
Yeah, Tekle Mariam himself was in the net, so it's a good thing. He'd rather be the one in the net than the ball. Yeah, the rest will be penalized for a handball. You could see it from a mile away. He was in full flight. The ball bounces quite unexpectedly. This man scored in the 11th second of resumption. I think he had previously scored in the, was it 28 seconds?
Yeah.
Resumption is competing with his own record of scoring goals in the 46th minute, seconds into the 46th minute. There's the 6 goals so far. He also did score the winner against Wolkite. The very last time that they are memorably thinking about a win on the Jimma side. It's going to be a throw-in. It's going to be for the Jimma side. Again, looking for a chance to go into the right side, and they're put through again for Temesgen Terese. Tries to cut it back, brings in a very low 45. No one's approaching to go for a short. Sumanu was already opening up in the center of the field. As he was deemed to have committed a foul. The count is already at 4, and 3 of them having been committed by Jimma. So it's going to be a free kick. Still going to be a very hard game to play. Sekai knows it, and Kasaya right. also knows it.
Absolutely. It's going to be very difficult. And there's every similarity in the way they're playing. Even Jimma is really not in a rush. They are trying to knock the balls. And trying to get the right kind of pass to the strikers.
I never thought there would be a time in which we would say there's a similarity between Jimma and Ethiopia Bunna in the way they're playing, but I think the circumstances on the field also have dictated how it's going to be happening. Yeah, big clearance coming from the defender, Amuzu Alex. It moved into the midfield and just make sure that he's clearing everything that is coming in that direction. So this is going to be a free kick. It's going to be taken by the Ethiopia Bunna side. Today they prefer Teklemariam Shanko in goal to the man who's been there before, Ebol Mamo.
He was in.
Yeah,
the last game against St. George.
And he had to come out. Sorry. That was Bikias Mekonen. I'll make it in very likelihood that there will be mud being thrown onto your windscreen. You've got to wipe it. It's the same way with the players in this field, There are people who are running, taking off and all that, and you catch the mud in your eyes. We've seen it with a couple of players needing to be helped. Just to be able to get it off the eyes and to see more clearly. Now, I don't need to remind you. And a swipe by the hands. Areas. There is Nasser now getting back into the game. It's still not very clear for him. Looking for options now. It doesn't go through at all. Jesus Birhan was waiting for it. The difficulties in just having to obviously dictate how much power you put on it and whether it gets there at all. Will be another story as altogether. So it's been adjudged to be a foul. See it more clearly there. Shiom Tesfaye is the man who was there for that. "19 minutes played. No openings as yet. Everyone looking around for which options to use. The wings presenting the better chances of the game being played. At least with some fluidity. Big ground intended for Abubakar Nasser. Cut off again, the delivery just doesn't pass through that midfield. It's Ethiopia Bunna who are coming back. In a rush again, that push then, when it gets onto the grassy areas, the ball's going to go out of the field. Player Tabu Tadese can't catch up with that one.
Well, I think at this point in time, it's a question of playing the ball to fit with some power, and therefore being technical players, I think they should be able to handle the power that has been put behind the ball. So far, the coach in a very defensive mode. He's really not broken the ranks here. No opportunity for Ethiopia Bunna in the last 19 minutes. That could be a cause for worry.
Oh, he's got a lot of minutes to play. Here is Temesgen Terese. Bring it back into the midfield. It's being dropped here for Subadu. Abebe Tilaun doesn't deal with it, and that presents a chance for Rahim Osumanu, but I think he flips his head slightly late after that ball has arrived there. He was trying to time it, and he wasn't very sure it's going to go past, but then as a striker, he expects anything to go behind the defenders to be his.
It's a good delivery from Siom on the right-hand side, right in between the two central defender, Mena and, of course, Abebe Tilaun, but he fails to connect that one. It was so simple for him to put the ball in the net.
Appreciative of what has been given to him. It's going to be a throw-in now for the Jimma Jiffar side. The captain himself, Elias Ataro, will come to take it. And plays it back into the midfield. He's looking for the options and trying to get a through ball as well on the left flank. Shanko has to come off his line to send this one forward. The fleet-footed Abubakar Nasir is going to be trying to get the better of Alex Amuzu. It's difficult to believe that that Abubakar Nasir can bring down Alex Amuzu. Just a little clipping on the right foot. Very difficult to notice. Yeah, there it is. That's the one that set him down. But Amuzu goes down in such a heap, you'd think there was a very big tussle on him. He's already beginning to frustrate Abubakar Nasir. I think that's the plan here as well.
Absolutely. I think he's been employed today just to track down the Abubakar Nasir's runs. And you know, Abubakar is normally very deceptive. At some point, he just disappears in the game.
This is out of the field here as Prince Waongo was trying to bring it back. 129 completed passes by Ethiopia Bunna. Is double what the Jimma side has completed. You've seen the percentages of their accuracy as well. You do the mathematics. Gonna get a very nice little tackle that wins it back for Jimma. The midfield is where it's getting lost totally for the Jimma side. It's not going to move again, made in that, sent into that center place. It will not move at all. We now have it again. Big touch by Abtamu Tadese, sends it back onto the flanks, but they lose it. Jimma have it at the center. Can they manage to move further up and bring in the right crosses? Some good play here. Intended for Osumanu, but Abebe Tilaun is standing in front of him. Picks it up. Gonna play it on the left side now. Duan Nasir. A good burst of speed in the middle. A good chase as well. On to the right side. Jesus Birhan brings it back to Haile Tinse. Just too many red stockings going for it. This could just be that chance that the Jimma side have been looking for. With Osumanu being involved as well. And Prince Waongo providing some space and width on the left side. Dummying for a cross and then trying to get it back in. Or to wait for the support. Which doesn't come very easily. Good one, Nasir, coupled with Abeba Tilahun and Mikias Mekonen managed to get this one out before it becomes too dangerous.
Absolutely. And Prince Waongo dilly-dallying with the ball. I think he needs to move a little bit faster whenever they're getting to the final third because Ethiopia Bunna very, very quick on recovery.
Again, the pass doesn't get to the intended. You can't blame anyone because it's just that part of the field doesn't allow for the ball to move very fluidly. Big one towards the center. And still the Bunna side take their time to build up just the same way as they usually do in normal circumstances. They're playing their usual game, not changing anything. An interesting foot here that we saw earlier on in the game. And whenever that happens to you, you always think about the embarrassment it is causing to you because that is designed to excite the fans who are watching. This game is live for you on your World of Champions from the Diradar International Stadium. Prince Waongo wades back into the mud, and that's why he can't execute a pass from there. Should have been trying to get himself away from that area, knowing how difficult it is to play there. Abubakar Nasir has decided to come back into the midfield to challenge for the balls here. He loses it, intended for Sumanu. The ball is just inches wide. Of course, the man wreaking havoc on the game here. It wasn't anything that defenders couldn't deal with. And this pass didn't look like it was going to get there anyway. But then it slows down as it is being chased by Abebe Tilahun, the goalkeeper as well.
That is an opportunity. I mean, he gets onto the ball faster, and I think he just slows down in the process. So Sumanu should have scored 3 goals by now. That is a golden opportunity. They will rue these chances.
But he also doesn't know how fast it is speeding by the time it slows down there. You can't blame him outrightly, but it happens to everybody. It happened to the goalkeeper. It happened to the defender. It happened to the striker as well. The ball slowed down unexpectedly, and he had a touch on it instinctively. Mikias, they're looking at the wing play now. A better way to move in through. Looking for a return ball here. Abubakar Nasir was very well placed here. Goes down a little bit too easily. The intimation of a tackle there is just exciting to the fans, but he doesn't have enough contact or even possession to be able to warrant the call for a penalty. Jimma get it out. They're looking for a throw-in. This is it again. There's nothing there to warrant a penalty at all.
He was not in control of the ball.
Absolutely not. But even the tackle in itself, I mean, it's a tackle on the ball, you know, and he just doesn't take off himself. Unless you... that's like trying to walk through a wall, you know, and expect the wall not to be there. It's the water break. And it signifies the first time that we're stopping the game and probably looking at it differently. Not much has gone to the direction of Abubakar Nouri. And so Abubakar Nouri has been safe from the shots of the other Abubakar, the Nasir. But good run here by Osumanu. And then it just, well, he chipped it. I agree with you. He should have chipped it accurately, but I think it happened too quickly.
Yeah, he should have used the outside of his foot to chip that ball. It was very, very easy for him. He got into the ball faster. And 50% of action in the midfield. I'm not sure why both teams are playing a lot of balls in the middle, which is really muddy.
They have to pass through there.
Yeah.
They have to pass through there. I think what we should be saying is there's very little coming towards the Jiffar side. There's more that is going towards the Bunna side. And 50% of the time, Jimma is using the right flank. Temesgen Deresa is making good runs there. And then, of course, they're trying to use Prince Waongo on the left side, but it's not working very well for them. For Bunna, you can see 100% going through the center.
It's their style of play.
Yep.
Their style of play. And
that's why there's a lot.
The surface is not permitting them to do exactly what they like doing. And therefore, it becomes very difficult losing balls when they're not supposed to, and good transition from Jimma into the attack.
The surface will not allow anyone from any side to do what they're doing. I think the coach, Segai Kidane Mariam, has got a last-minute chance to give instructions in this first half, at least now in this water break. And the same to the other side of Kasai Arage. But his team at the moment needs to really prove that they're a big team as well. They lost to St. George in the derby, but in the derby, anything happens. They had previously won against Sabeta 2-1. Then previously had lost to Awasa 1-0. And had won before Diradawa 3-1. And they had lost to Fasil. So they have a very checkered on and off kind of record coming into this game. A win, a loss, a win, a loss, a win, a loss. You know, it's quite unlike the Jimma side, who I think have been consistent in their inconsistency. They lost 2 games on a trot against Fasil and against Diradawa. They drew with Awasa, and then they lost to Sabeta. They drew with St. George. They're tottering around drawing and losing.
Awasa and St. George, a mean achievement. And remember, against St. George had to use anything in the book to at least get that goal.
Let's concentrate on this one, Gilbert.
You just talked about the teams now.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was indicating that they really need to do well. We're talking about the records here. That checkered record of the Bunna side is not very good coming towards the second position. They still have 6 matches. They still have a good chance to be able to come into the second place, and they could still win the prize money for the second. In case you forgot, the prize money is at $1 million for the winning team. Yeah. The second team gets 750,000 bet. It's still a lot of money, in my opinion.
It is. That's $1,000 US.
Yep. And so it will be given, you know, progressively depending on what position you are in on the log here. This is back into the midfield. This goes off the field of play. Throwing. It's going to be for the Ethiopia Bunna side. Bring it from the left side. Abubakar Nasir. He likes to light up the game a bit. He was looking for a return ball. He's going through the defenses here. They're managing to cut off all the balls onto that left side here. But
yeah, they're actually cutting out the space in which he's supposed to run, and that is very, very good defensive display by Jimma Jiffar.
Hoping that it's not going to be. I hope it's not going to be surprising. That I hope it's not putting themselves very nicely on the field. Taken by the captain. He's back into the midfield. Woeful attempt at taking possession by Nigatu. So picked up by Nasir. Push it just a little bit too far. If there's one man who is really working hard for the team, it's Menaku.
Absolutely. Right, you know,
him again.
He knows how Nasir runs, and his timing of Nasir runs have been very, very good.
Pushed up the ball, says the referee. Good chance for the Jimma side to come out of it. And when Lynn Gabriel is even questioning, there it is again. You see the push coming off the right hand. After the foul happens, he seems to be having a little chat with the Jimma players and asking him, what do you think I did? I just pushed him there. I think the referee has been unfair to me. But they can't listen to him because it's to their advantage. Picked up in the midfield. Tinsey gets it back. Mickey has making it. Don't look like they're going to switch play. Interestingly, again, Gilbert, even under the circumstances, the Bunna side have not decided to play with the wings alone. They're still trying to come into the center.
Yeah, I think that's their style of play, and it's a culture. It's been inculcated into most of the players, so they don't change the way they play easily.
I think it might just be the success of how they're running this game, because the rest of the teams probably try to change to play in the better places. They're just going about their game as usual. And when it comes to the flanks, they use it on the flanks. When it gets away from there, well, they move from there as well. A very dispirited shot coming from Emmanuel Ioannis. He's playing his 12th match so far for the Ethiopia Bunna side.
Again, Wango just keeps that ball away, and then wayward shot from the midfield, and Emmanuel Ioannis knows that he should have done better.
If if Waongo give it away, Manuel just give it back away. It's going to be a corner here, says the referee. In a situation where, again, the Ethiopia Bunna side is trying to push to get towards the goal area. And they have to bring it back to the center to work it from there. Every time they try to bring it back to that place. And Gabriel said, doesn't get to it. It is Duan Nasser who pushes it back onto the left side. They're going to calm it down and start it again from their side. Should they build it from the back into the center, or should they just press from the center?
I think they need to work faster, because when they push it back, you can see a lot of realization from the Jimma side, and therefore they cut out the passing lanes.
So I think even they should work faster from the midfield.
Yes.
Not bring it all the way back to the defenders. Temesgen Teresa is here. And he's in a perfect position. He's lined himself up for a shot, brings in a 45 instead. Osimanu has to hold his run because this ball goes behind him. And it's going to go to the left. It's going to go to the left side. Let's start it from there. You think it's delaying the delivery if they bring it back to their own defense?
Absolutely. They're trying to dupe Jimma into their half, but Jimma is not moving. They're staying in their own half, just sticking to the defensive shape.
Well then, you have to look for another way of playing this one. It's going to go out for a throw-in, which will be given to the Jimma Jiffar side. For a throw. 37 minutes played. And the scoreline is still at 0-0 in this game. That's all the way back to the defender. And then they arrange it for the Ethiopia Bunna side. And then turn to try and get a through ball. Cut off by that has become very difficult to beat them. Melaku walled it on the right side. So they're pressing. They've got Jimma in their half, but you're saying that they're time with the attack and they don't come in on time and they're not working too fast.
Yes, and you know, at the point where they want to deliver a pass, the space in which the pass is supposed to be delivered is already covered. So they're the ones who are letting themselves down. In the final third, it's about speed, and they're not doing it so far.
Oh, again, back into the midfield. The Ethiopia Bunna side beat Jimma 3-1 in the reverse feature of this one. So they have the bragging rights of it. A chance to try and bring it back to Abubakar Nasser. He's going to try to dribble through all the maze of feet there. It's a good thing that he avoids getting tangled in there. Ordinarily, he would just push himself into the box there to look for a penalty. And he's not afraid to be tackled down. Alex Amuzu stayed in his defensive line this time round. Not really targeting. Not really targeting Abubakar Nasser as was expected. This will go out for a throw-in. It's going to be for the Jimma Jiffar side. Lisa Taro will take it. 40th minute, Gilbert. What about the formations?
Well, the formations are working so far because Jimma in the defense, they have Temesgen, the rest, and the Prince dropping back to make the 4-5-1 work for them. And then in the attack, they have the big man, Osman, and also the Temesgen Rese moving up for them.
Yeah, this man, Mikias Mekone, has been told by the referee to stop that. Just being too verbal. You know, he's got some verbosity in him, and that's what he's been told to stop altogether. He immediately was lashing out at the referee. It's the hallmark of the game in Ethiopia. And, I think it's beginning to come down a bit with respect to the whistle and simply just going on with the game after that. It's been a remarkable change after the number of matches that I've been playing, which is 121 matches that we're watching so far in the Ethiopian Premier League. Because he gets it back on his left foot and finds some space in the midfield. He's not going to run through all the way there. The tower is also complaining. Like I told you, this happens a lot. His captain is really putting himself in a difficult situation here, Gilbert.
Yeah, I mean,
Once
once the
he took
whistle
the
has
ball
gone,
and his
yes.
one was being pulled back. But look, the whistle is gone.
Yeah, once the whistle has gone, I think you just give the referee some slack and move on.
So they're going to have to learn that the hard way. It's going to be a throw-in for the Bunna side. Now we're playing the 42nd minute of the game. Ethiopia Bunna in second position on the Premier standings with 33 points. They have scored 36 goals and have conceded 22. That's a plus 14 goals if you compare it to even the passes. They have 144 more passes than the Jimma Jiffar side, but most of them are just in the midfield, not moving up forward. The Jimma side have lost 11 matches, have scored only 17 and conceded 34 goals, a minus 17 goal difference. Now, the statistics they say usually will count for just that, but on the field, no team is a small team, no team is a big team. And woe unto you if you come underrating any of them. Jimma is a resurgent side. Who can just enjoy themselves, knowing the pressure is more on the Ethiopia Bunna side. They bring it out to the right side now. Because they couldn't. I think there's a chance to try and play further back into the midfield. He's got Manuel Yohanes closest to him. On the very first time that they're trying to lift the ball into the area, done by Haile Gabriel. A better delivery by Abebe. And down to the left side. Astra Tunjo has to run on that side. He's scored in the 3-1 win of the Tower in the 57th minute of the game. This time around, he's staying a little bit further into the midfield, coming out too far unless they're in a very definite attack. That's him on the right foot, delivering it into the box. Nick Yakin in the right, tap too late for it, because that's right goal kick. It's going to be for the far side. That was not about delivery at all.
It was about delivery, only that
the midfield. And a long ball down the right side. It's flipped out by Amuzu. I don't know how else it will be when the Ethiopia Bunna side is attacking the other side and Jimma is bringing it from right to left in the second half. But we'll see what happens. Prince Maungo has got this one. He done his nasty that has not quite worked out for them. This one, Prince Maungo was deemed to have been unfairly tackling.
ተጫዋቾች ከመሃል ተነስተው ሲቸገሩ ተመልክተናል። የመጀመሪያው 45 ደቂቃ ግን በቁጥሮችና አጠቃላይ በእንቅስቃሴ እንዴት ይገለጻል የሚለውን ቆይታ እናደርጋለን። ዮናስ አዘዘና ጊልበርት ሰልቫ አብረን ቆይታ የምናደርግ ነው የሚሆነው። ባክ ጊልበርት I think Jimma starts very well in the defensive line.
Well, I think it's a good game plan that they came with. When they are attacking, we'll see them attacking with three players. There is Waong on the left-hand side, the rest on the right-hand side, and the Sumano at the top. When they are defending, you will find Waongo, dropping back to help out in the deep. The rest are also dropping back, and therefore it turns from 4-3-3 formation offensively into a 4-1 formation, making it very, very difficult for Ethiopia Bunna to have any penetration passes.
ዮናስ ጅማ በጣም ሶሊድ ሆኖ የጀመረበት የመጀመሪያው 45 ደቂቃ ይመስላል። በተለይም ደግሞ የአቡበክርን ሶርስ ማቆም ላይ ትኩረት ያደረገ እንቅስቃሴ ነው ያያያለ።
በጣም ኮምፓክት ሆኖ ነው እየተጫወቱ ያሉት። እንደውም የፓሲንግ አማራጮች በመዝጋት በራሳቸው ሜዳ በጣም ቆይተው ነው የተጫወቱ። እንግዲህ በመጀመሪያ ላይ በጥቂት ሆኖ ፕሬስ ለማድረግ ሞክረው ነበር። ነጥቀው ጎል ለማስቆጠሩ ላይ ሞከሩበት አጋጣሚ አለ። በአብዛኛው ግን
When he goes in to put a header, you expect that he's going to be heading that ball downwards. But again, he floods that opportunity by heading that ball over the bar, and that is the second opportunity that they lose in this match.
በመሃል ውስጥ ሆኖ የሞከረው ሙከራ ግን ከዚህ ተሻለ ሊሞክር
Welcome back to the second half of the Jimma Jiffar versus Ethiopia coffee match. That will mark the last game that is going to be played in Diradawa, the city of peace and love. That was at 0-0 by the time we went to the end of the first half. And that is being watched by many others, including the Fasil side, waiting to see what will happen to Buddha here. If they win the game today, then the Fasil side will have to wait a little longer for their celebration as champions until they win another match. If Jimma then inflicts some injuries on the Bunna side and making them lose, then Fasil will be celebrating. But that's all in just thinking about how it's going to be done. We wait until the very final whistle to see what's going to happen. And we'll also be looking at what they have discussed in the second half of in the halftime break to come and execute in the second half of the game. So expect a little bit of a scrappy match because of the field, and you look at it, and most of the players now are muddier than they were before. We were saying that the team that will play the second match will have a worse time. This is exactly the reason why, because the places that were previously not getting any compaction by the players looked good enough to play on, and then after that, after 90 minutes, then it becomes more difficult. They have gone for the same thing they did in literally every match when they started. I don't know why the flag is up here. I think that Tevez Interest was controlling the ball there. They might just have to redo it. I think the commentators on Amharic will be Marcos Elias. I don't know what happened there. The flag went up